Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a story time video, and the story I'm going to be telling you is about the time the cops got called on me and I got taken away. So this was probably the year 2011 or 12, and I was at the really height of my addiction. I was abusing methamphetamines and oxycodone, heroin, Xanax, somas, cocaine, and alcohol. I had been shooting up methamphetamine and Roxy's every day for about 7 days, and I had been up for about 12 to 13 days straight. At the time, I was working a job, and I was employed by a grocery store. I'd been employed there for 3 years, and so I had a really good position. I was working as an assistant deli manager at the store, and so my paychecks were rather nice. And so what I would do was I would always get paid on Thursdays, and I would buy, pay my rent and then buy drugs with the rest of the money. I remember it was a weekend. It was a Friday night, and I had just gotten off work and drove to my friend's house out in Southwest Little Rock, which is the ghetto. And we were partying like this little trailer house. It was a dilapidated trailer, you guys. I'm talking like the walls were like coming down. There was barely any running water. It was like you had to like turn the faucet a certain way to get the water to run. It was just like a junky old trailer, and this guy's name was Gerald. The house that I was at, we'll say his name was Gerald, and he was a black guy, and we had been friends for some time, and we would party and get high together all the time. And his roommates were 2 gay guys. So we had been up partying all night long on Friday, and I had already been partying, prior to that. So I was just coming in and continuing, and we were shooting Roxy's and just like chilling and, just kicking it. Well, I had been up for a lot of days, like I said, like 12 days, and I was starting to really hallucinate to where I sat in this recliner at his house for literally 8 hours and watched Cy from Duck Dynasty. He was coming out of the top of the trailer, out of one of the little ceiling things, and he was going to catapult me in this recliner through the trailer, and it's like a ride. And it was Cy, and I was having a full-blown conversation with him. You guys, I remember it like I'm not even lying to you. Like, I saw him there. Like, I was talking to him there. And my friends were starting to get really worried about me because I was just out of it. I was talking to people that weren't there. I was, crying and screaming because I was getting, really confused about what was reality and what wasn't. It was like I was thinking that I was like in between worlds. I was so afraid, you guys, because this would happen, but it would never happen to this magnitude. Like, this is when my addiction started getting so out of control, and I was using so much that I constantly was having a problem deciphering fantasy from reality. Like, what I was seeing and what my mind was making up. I would have to ask my friends, like, is this really happening? Am I doing this? And it was scary. It was really scary. So my friends were starting to get worried about me, and Gerald said, I'm going to give you one of these sleeping pills so that way you can sleep. You need to come down, if you'll get some rest, then you'll feel a lot better, and then you'll be okay. So he gave me a 100 milligram, what are those sleeping pills that people take? It's also an antipsychotic. Anyways, it's 100 milligrams. It's huge. And people take them for like bipolar. Anyways, it was really strong. So I took that thinking I would go to sleep. So I went and lay down with the 2 gay guys in their bed because they let me come in there. They were going to watch over me and make sure I was actually sleeping and not hallucinating all night. So I went and laid down with them, and I was falling asleep. But I was in between sleep and that hallucination still. So it probably was about 3 a.m. in the morning. I got up. I had boxers and a t-shirt on. And I walked out the front door, you guys, and I started walking down the road because I had to go to work. This is what my mind was telling me. You got to go to work, Nicole. Hurry up. Let's get to work. You're going to be late, you know. So I started off walking at 3 a.m., you guys. And we were in the hood. Like, really, seriously, the hood. So I was walking down the street, and this is me in my hallucination. I'm in my hallucination. And I saw this house, and the porch had marijuana strewn all over the porch. And I was like, oh, my God. So I ran over to this porch, and I grabbed, there was like a broom sitting up against the door, and I started sweeping this lady's porch, you guys, frantically sweeping it. And this little, I guess, I don't know, this is what the police told me. This little Mexican lady came out, stuck her head around, and then whipped back in the house and called 911, called the police. When the police got there, I was in such a bad hallucination. I thought that they were trying to shoot me, and I was ducking and I was weaving, and they were like, ma'am, just calm down, just calm down. And so they got my phone and they called my parents, and they were like, y'all need to come to Little Rock. Your daughter is in trouble. She needs y'all's help. So I was scared. Like, the police were I thought, I don't know, I swear the police were holding their guns on me and telling me that if I moved, they would shoot me. And then I looked over, and the little Spanish lady had a gun, and I was so afraid. I was ducking and weaving. And you guys, she didn't have a gun. This was all my hallucination. And the officer called an ambulance, and they put me in the ambulance, and I got inside the ambulance, and I thought that ambulance driver was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. And I remember this because this is my hallucinations that I remember, that I'm telling you guys, because they were so real. Like, I promise you, I was so afraid for my life. Like, I was scared. They took me in the emergency room, and the ER ladies had to put me down on the bed with those straps because I couldn't stop getting up and down. And they kept asking me, have you taken bath salts? What have you done? And I told them, you know, I shot up methamphetamine and roxicodone, and I've been up for 12 days. I was so dehydrated, you guys. I was so malnourished. They could not get me to go to sleep. They kept on giving me doses of Halidol and Thorazine shots. Finally, I passed out. Not because I fell asleep, because I went unconscious and I went into a coma. While I was in this coma for 7 days, my kidneys and my liver started to shut down. I was dying because I had been up and so malnourished and so sick and so just on one. And I wasn't taking care of my body. So my mom and dad came to the hospital, and when I woke up, my mom said, and I remember it, you guys, like it was yesterday. She goes, do you know how long you've been here, Nicole? And I was like, you know, I thought it was just a normal overdose. She was like, you've been in a coma for 7 days. And all I could remember thinking about is how I needed to get out and get high because I felt like shit. And that's the story about me getting taken to the hospital and arrested by the police. They didn't charge me with anything, but they got me off those streets because I was so sick, so hallucinating, and I went right back to it, you guys. I went right back to the house where I left my car, got my stuff, got high, and I just kept on repeating that same cycle for about 4 or 5 years after that. But it was so, so scary because I truly believed what I was seeing was really happening. Like, I still to this day have to ask, you know, people that, I talked to a few people that were around back then, and they'll tell me, you know, like, girl, we were so worried about you because you were so out of it. So, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and if you would like to hear some other stories about my life and my addiction, please comment down below and let me know what you guys want to hear about next. All right, bye.